Hey there everyone, the Doctor is in, and we are about to play Trial by Fire Turnabout Déjà Vu. It is the second game of the Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney series that is set in the Shattered Glass world line, and it is the tutorial case thereof. Right now, this is the only other case in this series that exists. I'm hoping that maybe I will get some motivation to continue crafting these by recording my dialogue for it. In the meantime, let us begin. The following is a fan-based alternate world line to Capcom's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Please support the official release.
What are you doing here? This is the wrong competition. You're supposed to be in... My mouth actually moves in this game board. This is new. Anyway, you are needed in Turnabout of the Golden Witch. Why are you here? You aren't even featured as a character on this game board.
I know, but Shattered Glass used to be introduced with red text. It caused some confusion, so my narrator voice was needed. I'll get back with you as soon as I can.
Very well. See that you do.
Actually, now that I think of it, I could use your help with something. If I could have a word with you as soon as I'm done here.
I suppose the other game board isn't going anywhere without us. Just make it quick, please.
Incidentally, if she just blinked out of existence instead of slowly fading away, or if her mouth wasn't actually moving, you might want to use a different web browser. I mustn't forget. I am a defense attorney. My name is... Oh no. I can't even remember my name. No! I have to remember! Come on. What was I doing? Why am I here? I know there's something incredibly important. Please, God, don't let me forget. I can't. I have to remember why I'm here. If I don't, something horrible will happen. Losing consciousness. I can't hold on any longer. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Where am I? Wait. This is defendant lobby number 2. Judging from the decor, I'd say it's near Christmas time. My name is... Confound it. I still can't remember. Still, this is good to know. It would appear my amnesia may be limited to names at this point. I just wish I could remember why I'm here. Last week is complete and utter mystery.
Good morning!
Oh, good morning, miss.
Miss? This is no time for games, Mr. Edgeworth. My trial starts in 15 minutes.
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? That's right. My name is Miles Edgeworth. Well, that's one mystery solved. Forgive me, I'm having a little trouble right now. I can remember procedures and events, but names and faces escape me at the moment. Actually, perhaps I should look at my evidence. This is my attorney's badge. Proof of my profession, I prefer to keep it in my pocket outside of court. Alchemical tome. Advanced guide to transmutation. Why do I have this? Autopsy report. Time of death 12:15 at 6:20 p.m. Cause broken neck. Body was also covered in bruises. Alright. Shattered glasses found under the victim's body. Pieces of nearsighted lenses were found nearby. Yeah, I don't remember anyone else, though. I couldn't even remember my own name until you said it.
Just my luck. I'm going on trial for murder, and I'm stuck with an amnesiac for an attorney.
I see. I must have agreed to defend her before my memories decided to fly the coop. I wouldn't be too disheartened. I may not remember you, but for some reason I remember trial proceedings quite well. This is a bizarrely specific amnesia. At any rate, I shouldn't think there would be any problems. Now, if you would be so kind as to tell me your name.
Alright, sir, it's Maggie. Maggie Bird.
Thank you. I'm remembering a little bit more now. Now, how do I know you? A client, apparently. I don't recall much about her, but somehow I feel like she's connected to someone I know. Are we friends, or is our relationship strictly that of a lawyer and client?
I'm afraid we don't know each other all that well. I kind of know a couple of friends of yours, but that's about it. Hey, I know! May I borrow your phone?
My phone? Yeah, sure, if it'll help.
Thanks, sir. Hey, Miles. Good to hear from you. What's up? Hi, it's Maggie. I'm borrowing Mr. Edgeworth's phone right now. Listen, can you come over to Defendant Lobby number 2? Mr. Edgeworth has amnesia. We were hoping you could come and help jog his memory. Oh no, I'll be there as quick as I can. It'll be about half an hour before I can get there, though. Tell him to hang in there for me. Alright, we'll see you.
Hey, why didn't you just have her talk to me over the phone? You could have saved her a trip.
You're right. Why didn't I think of that?
It's alright. Just hurry and call her back. One moment. I gotta check to make sure the volume is correct here. I have a feeling it is perhaps too loud. Where is the sound settings? There we go. Volume mixer. Here we are. Ah, okay. We're good. It's alright. Just hurry and call her back. The trial will begin shortly. Will the defendant and her lawyer please proceed to the courtroom immediately? Or not? Look, it'll be fine. If nothing else, my lack of memory means I can look at the trial objectively. With no preconceived biases getting in the way of cold, hard logic. You've little need for concern. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a defense attorney. Evidently, I made a commitment to defend this young woman in court before I lost my memories. Hopefully, this case will help me remember more. Strange. Today's events seem familiar somehow. Yet, I still feel I'm forgetting something dreadfully important.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Maggie Bird.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. As if I'd be so incompetent as to let a minor setback like amnesia prevent me from doing my job.
Excellent. Now then, to the matter at hand. Because the defendant is a member of our police force, this case is under great scrutiny. Therefore, we must make this trial fair but swift. Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Gotta adjust my seat here.
As I'm sure you're well aware, the defendant is accused of killing her lover. What's worse, her lover was a fellow police officer.
Wait, lover? Why does that not sound right?
We weren't lovers like that. Dustin was just a friend. He really looked out for me when I was in training. Besides, I'm seeing someone else. My boyfriend's the one who told me to get you as my attorney.
Ah, that's right. She said she knew some friends of mine. That would explain why she knew who to call when she had my phone. However, she referred to the person she's seeing as her boyfriend. The voice on our mutual friend on the phone was clearly female. Pleasantly familiar. Why can't I remember her blasted name?
In any case, the prosecution will prove that the guilty party is none other than the defendant.
Very well. Mr. Payne, please call your first witness.
It's been a while, Mr. Edgeworth. Let's see what you've learned since last time. I won't show you any mercy this time, rookie.
Implying we faced each other before. That's helpful. Odd, I could have sworn I remembered him being a janitor, though. Let's see, the victim. Dustin Prince, age 30. The victim and a policeman. Supposedly he and the defendant may have been an item, but that can't be right. Well, I just confirmed it wasn't. The prosecutor in this case, Winston Payne. Strange, I could have sworn I remembered him being a janitor.
Please bring Officer Mike Meekins to the stand. Here we go. Don't let me down, Mr. Edgeworth.
Are my clients normally this nervous? And why do I get this strange feeling I've gone over this case before?
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Yes, sir! I am Officer Mike Meekins, sir! My occupation is, that would be detective in training, sir!
Let's see. Mike Meekins, age 22, patrolman with general affairs, evidently in training to become a detective.
Officer Meekins, please describe for us the details of this murder.
Yes, sir!
It happened at the park near headquarters, Expose Park. The victim was one of the local cops, Dustin Prince. He was pushed down from the benches on the upper path, sir.
If you ask me whether or not the fall snapped his neck, I would say the fall snapped his neck, sir!
The details are listed in the report that was distributed yesterday.
Ah, yes, this autopsy report, correct?
Ah, that explains why I have that with me.
I see everything is in order here. Even the estimated time of death is unusually well documented.
The coroner said the victim's watch stopped from the impact of the landing. The results of the autopsy confirmed the time of death.
Just so we're clear, the time of death was confirmed to match the time shown on the victim's broken watch.
That's right. If I may, Your Honor, the prosecution would like to submit to this photograph.
Very well. The court accepts it into evidence.
Let's see. Typical park. Oh, payphones, I still have those. Dropped his hat. Oh, as one normally does.
Now then, I recall at yesterday's preliminary hearing, a very important piece of evidence was brought to our attention.
Yes, Your Honor.
My memory's a little fuzzy. Would you care to explain?
Mr. Edgeworth, is your head on right today? There was a very crucial piece of evidence found under the victim's body.
He can't help it, Your Honor. He has amnesia.
This is highly irregular. The defense is amnesia, yet the defendant still feels comfortable with him presenting her case?
I didn't exactly have much of a choice. I only found out a few minutes before the trial.
Your confidence in me brings me to tears.
I see. Luckily, I keep an emergency tutorial nearby in case of such an event. In times like this, you should take a look at the court record. There, you will find information about all evidence and profiles collected thus far.
I know that! It's not that kind of amnesia! In any case, realistically, I would say the evidence in question must be the shattered glasses. It's either that or the alchemical tome, but the glasses seem much more likely.
The victim grabbed the defendant's glasses as he was being shoved, and held on to them as he fell.
I assume forensics tested for fingerprints?
I'm afraid the dirt and sand rubbed out any traces of fingerprints.
What about matching the prescription strength to the defendant's prescription? Just because she wears glasses doesn't mean this shattered pair belongs to her.
You underestimate us. Not only did we confirm the prescription strength matched, the defendant's current pair just so happened to be her spares. Yes, this is my spare pair, but these glasses you found at the scene of the crime are not mine, I swear. Look, it was a coincidence that on that same day I accidentally stepped on mine.
Ah, yes, Goddess of Misfortune Maggie Bird strikes again. Wait a second.
Up until I went to college, I was known as the Goddess of Misfortune.
Miss Bird, before today, have we ever met in the courtroom lobby?
I don't think so. I know we met in the detention center, and I might have seen you at the office. I'm pretty sure we never met in the courtroom lobby before today. Why do you ask?
No reason, just curious. We never met in the lobby before today. Why do I remember having that conversation? I remember it clearly, yet that should be impossible. Ergo, she's either mistaken, lying, or something far more unfathomable is happening here. And why do I keep getting the distinct impression that I've taken this case before?
Your Honor, I have further evidence to present.
Oh? You have more?
Yes, our witness has been kind enough to provide us something very decisive.
Very well. Let's hear from our witness about this evidence.
There's something even more incriminating than the glasses!
Officer, you will cease from using that megaphone at once. The acoustics in this room are perfectly sufficient to deliver testimony. You are in training to become a detective, for heaven's sake. You don't see Detective Sky using a megaphone in court, do you?
You just remembered someone's name.
I did. You're right, I did.
Quick, do you remember anything else?
No.
Well, I'm glad to see the defense is regaining his memories. I'm afraid we do have a testimony to continue with. That said, the defense is right. The witness will refrain from using the megaphone during proceedings.
Sir, there's something even more incriminating than the glasses under the victim's body, sir. During his date, the victim was pushed from the bench area, sir. But he managed to write the culprit's name on the ground where he landed. Looking at it, I would label this as clearly being the defendant's name, Maggie, sir. Between this evidence and the glasses, it's pretty obvious she's the culprit.
This is a picture of the writing, Your Honor.
Why, this is... Yes, I can see the name is clearly written here.
Prosecution would like to submit this picture.
Understood. The court accepts it into evidence.
Mr. Edgeworth, what's wrong?
It can't be. It's just not possible. I've heard this testimony before.
More importantly, I know where the contradiction lies.
Mr. Edgeworth, you may cross-examine the witness. Now, according to my tutorial, sometimes witnesses may lie or remember things wrong. To draw out the truth, the defense may press the witness for more details. If a statement contradicts the evidence, the defense should present that evidence.
Enough with the tutorial! I told you, it's not that kind of amnesia!
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just... I've never had occasion to use my emergency tutorial before. Oh well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sir, there's something even more incriminating than the glasses under the victim's body, sir!
Hold it!
Come to think of it, I already asked if they were able to match the glasses to the defendant. And I already know they found her name under the victim's body as well. So just what am I pressing for here? My apologies, officer. You may continue.
During this date, the victim was pushed from the bench area, sir!
Hold it!
You're quite certain the victim was pushed?
If I had to say whether the victim was pushed or had tripped, I would say he was pushed, sir! There were signs of a struggle at the scene, so there's no way it was anything else.
I see. Please continue, witness.
Anyway, the victim fell pretty far. But he managed to write the culprit's name on the ground where he landed.
Oh, right. Photo of the area around the victim's hand. That's the check button for details. Maggie, M-A-G-G. That's Maggie with an I. She's Maggie with a Y.
He managed to write the culprit's name on the ground where he landed.
Hold it!
You're certain it was the culprit's name? Is there any possibility it could have been part of a computer password or the like?
If I were to label it as a password or the culprit's name, I would label it the culprit's name, sir.
And you claim this is also the name of my client?
Looking at it, I would label this as clearly being the defendant's name, Maggie, sir.
Hold it!
And you're absolutely certain of this?
If you have to label me as certain or uncertain, then I'd say I lean heavily on the certain side, sir. You can clearly see the defendant's name in this picture, sir.
I don't know why I even bothered to press this statement. I know exactly where the contradictory statement is.
Between this evidence and the glasses, it's pretty obvious she's the culprit.
Hold it!
You're quite sure the victim wrote that name? Is there any possibility someone else tried to frame my client?
Forensic report said his finger was scratched up by the rough sand. There were also grains of sand stuck under his index fingernail.
Certainly seems that the name was written by the victim himself.
Don't give up. Keep that fighting spirit going.
I haven't given up. On the contrary, I know exactly what I'm doing.
In the event that contradictory evidence cannot be presented, the defense should check to see if there are any contradictory profiles.
For the umpteenth time, I already know all this! Alright. Maggie with an I present to you Maggie with a Y. Wait. Something's not right here.
I can't believe your first thought was to object to how the name was spelled. You forget your coffee or something this morning? You seriously couldn't see the real reason the victim wasn't the one to write the name?
There it is again. A memory that can't possibly exist. While my inner grammar Nazi is screaming at me to correct this mistake, I should let it slide. Man for my memories is right. There's much more definite contradiction in there.
He managed to write the culprit's name on the ground where he landed.
Objection!
Let me get this straight. You say it was the victim who wrote the name in the sand?
I would definitely say it was the victim, sir.
I'm sorry, officer, but I'm afraid that simply isn't possible. You see, this autopsy report clearly states the victim died from a broken neck. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but breaking one's neck tends to take out the spinal cord as well. When that happens, it's impossible to move your body, let alone write anything in the sand!
Well, maybe this is one of those rare cases where the spinal cord stayed intact?
Objection!
Very well, I'll humor you. Let's say this is a rare exception to that general rule. As I recall, the autopsy report also said the time of death was 6:20 p.m. This was determined because it lined up with when the victim's watch had broken. So even the autopsy report is telling us that death was instantaneous.
But surely there must be...
I am not finished. There's also the fact that the person who wrote that name misspelled Maggie with a Y as Maggie with an I. If they were lovers, as the prosecution claims, the victim wouldn't have misspelled it.
Order! Order! Mr. Edgeworth, this is simply astonishing. You've turned this whole trial on its head in record time.
Believe it or not, there's more. Simply take a look at the photo. You'll notice that the victim is supposedly writing this with his right hand. However, the victim just so happened to be left-handed.
That's right. How did you know?
Because you told me you gave him that left-handed baseball glove for his birthday that day. A birthday present from Maggie to the victim. It was custom made.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're scaring me. It's true I gave him the left-handed glove that day, but I never told you about that glove. The only person I told was Officer Meekins, and that was because I asked him what Dustin might want.
Wait. You're right. It was Officer Meekins who mentioned that. Just what in blazes is going on here? Why do I keep remembering things that haven't happened, but are somehow still true?
Okay, so the victim couldn't have written the name. Couldn't the defendant have written the message using the victim's finger?
And why, pray tell, would she do that?
To help throw suspicion off herself? Purposely creating contradictions that make her look innocent.
My dear prosecutor, I should hope you say this in jest. Tell me, if it wasn't for the name, would you have tried to match the glasses to her? If it wasn't for the name, would there be anything linking her to the crime? I understand the police have to take any dying message they see seriously. So why would a police officer incriminate herself when she could simply leave the scene?
But even with all this, we still have a witness who says he saw the whole thing.
Do we now? That's interesting. Did he see the defendant write her name in the sand?
I'm not sure. We can ask, though.
Very well. Why don't we bring him in here and hear what he has to say?
Sir, what are you doing? We almost have this case won, and you want another witness?
If the witness claims he saw the whole thing, and the whole thing is clearly impossible, odds are he's probably the killer.
Ah, good thinking, sir.
Very well. Let's call the next witness. Mr. Payne, how quickly can you bring in your new witness?
Shouldn't take long. Why?
It just occurred to me that we may set a record here for shortest trial ever. So I was hoping to avoid calling for a recess. It would give me a great story to tell my grandson. If you would please call your next witness, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. But before I do, if I may say a few words.
What is it, Mr. Payne?
It's about the next witness. He has a tendency to say things that rub people the wrong way, you see. So I ask that the court might be a little lenient on...
There is no need to give a preface. Just hurry up and call your witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Prosecution calls its next witness. A drifter who was taking a walk in the park on the day of the murder. Please state your name for the court, witness. Before I do, I'd like to clarify a little something. Alright, go ahead. Just now, you introduced my wonderful self to the court, correct? Perhaps as a drifter who is taking a walk?
But I will not stand for that. Now you've tinted the court's eyes and colored me wrongly. Sure, I suppose calling me a university student would not be the absolute truth, but to give in and just settle would be as evil as death, and I can't have that. Everything in my life is to be of the utmost highest top-grade quality, you understand. I am really looking for that perfect top-notch, unbeatable university, don't you see? Fashion, cars, women, glasses, and of course, a university. First rates only need apply.
The prosecution only asked you for your name. You will answer with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or so help me God, there will be another murder in this courtroom.
It's bad enough I have to remember this rant. I'm not about to listen to it again.
Ordinarily, I'd penalize you for such an outburst, Mr. Edgeworth.
I don't think that will be necessary, Your Honor. I'm sure we can forgive him just this once.
I agree. The witness will answer what he has been asked, and nothing more. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, is that how you want to play this? Using your power and influence to keep the young people down? I see how you work now. You old people and your dirty tricks. You thought you had me, but you had thought wrong.
Silence.
Your name, witness!
Fine, I suppose I can tell you my name. I'm Richard Wellington, the drifting virtuoso with a PhD in drifting, as it were. If you wanted to, you could call me a university student in transit. That was a great Twisted Samurai impression. Maybe you should consider going into voice acting.
Thank you, but no, I much prefer being an attorney.
So, the guy who plays the Twisted Samurai is a defense attorney too.
Is that so? Huh.
Mr. Wellington, on the day of the murder, you were taking strolling through the park, correct? It would appear you aren't attached to that word. If you must, then by all means. But I remind you that I am in no way a prepubescent boy out on the walk with mommy. If you must know, I am...
Just get on with it! Tell the court what you saw while you were taking a walk through the park.
I was at the park all afternoon, deep in thought about my life situation. I don't remember the time all that well, but I do believe it was past 6 p.m. All of a sudden, a police officer falls from above, right in front of my eyes. Without a thought, I looked up, and there I met the eyes of a charming young lady. Of course I remember her sweet face. It was that of the pretty defendant there. The only other thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer.
That was certainly decisive testimony. You may now question the witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
Clearly, our definitions of decisive are quite different. Well, I seem to recall this testimony as well, so I may as well get on with it. At this point, I think I'm more disturbed that I actually am getting used to all this déjà vu.
I was at the park all afternoon, deep in thought about my life situation.
I don't recall there being anything relevant here. There's some rubbish about how his choice of university directly affects his country's future. I'll just leave the statement be.
I don't remember the time all that well, but I do believe it was past 6 p.m.
Nothing of great importance here. He says he knew the time because of the clock in the park. Then he rants about some nonsense no one here cares about. I'll pass on this one, thanks.
All of a sudden, a police officer falls from above, right in front of my eyes.
I'm not sure why I would have pressed this point to begin with. Any fool could tell I was a police officer just by looking at the uniform. Moving on.
Without a thought, I looked up, and there I met the eyes of a charming young lady.
Obviously, he means my client. Miss Bird, do you recall seeing this individual at the park?
No, I don't recall seeing him anywhere, actually. Pretty sure I would, too. His hair kind of stands out, you know? Why do you ask? Assuming you're innocent, he'd either have to be mistaken, which would require you to have a twin, or he's simply lying about meeting your eyes at that time. Not that it's enough to call him out on, unfortunately. Of course I remember her sweet face. It was that of the pretty defendant there. Naturally, he's either 100% certain of this, or he's lying. Either way, not much I can pull out of him here. The only other thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer. The contradiction is right here. I really don't need to press this statement. This individual couldn't be more suspicious if he wore a t-shirt saying, "I'm a bad guy." Just wait. I'll either find out or remember what you're hiding, and then we can all go home. The only other thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer. This looks like a banana, so this must be what you saw.
An addendum from Judge Ferdinand Lance. Evidence presented must actually contradict the witness's testimony. It is bad form to present evidence simply because it suggests an alternate possibility.
Clearly, it's not enough that I have these impossible memories. Now my imagination has to get in on the act. Still, that part about it being bad form to point out alternate possibilities is correct. Besides, if he's telling the truth, there's something else he should have seen. I should press him about that. The only other thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer.
Hold it!
Really? A banana? Well, if you must know, it was more like a whole bunch of them. Cease with these irrelevant tangents! I should like to know if you saw anything else relevant to the crime. Well, if you're looking for something you consider relevant, I also noticed that the victim had written someone's name in the sand. But really, who's to say bananas are less relevant than a random's name in the sand? You, who studied at a low-life, no-name university, might not understand the relation, however. For all you know, the bananas could have been the very tool used to send him to his... Silence. That will do, Mr. Wellington. Couldn't simply have mentioned the name first. Your Honor, I request that the witness add his statement about seeing the name to his testimony.
Very well. Please amend your testimony, Mr. Wellington.
I also just so happened to notice the victim had written the defendant's name in the sand.
Hold it!
You're certain it was the defendant's name? I assume it is. The defendant is female, as was the name in the sand. I'd hardly say the assumption is unreasonable. Checkmate. This individual couldn't be more suspicious if he wore a t-shirt saying, "I'm a bad guy." So you noticed the victim had written the defendant's name in the sand. Small problem with that.
Objection!
Before we continue, I should like to confirm a few things. Richard Wellington, age 22, a self-proclaimed drifting virtuoso who is still looking for the right college, claims he saw the murder as it happened. I claim otherwise. First, Mr. Payne, was the witness privy to any information in the court record thus far? He shouldn't be. We haven't really gone over any evidence since he came in. I certainly never showed him any of it. Nothing at all. Not even the crime photos? Nope, not even those.
Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly are you going with this?
Please bear with me, Your Honor. Everything must be done decently and in order. I shall explain momentarily. Second point. Mr. Wellington, please remind the court what time you saw the incident. As I said before, it was sometime after 6 p.m. I know I left to call the police sometime before 7 p.m., so it was somewhere in that interval. You say you left to call the police. Why was that? Yes, I'm afraid I had misplaced my phone that day, so I went to find a public one. Odd. And did you or did you not see the exact moment of the murder? Very odd. Of course I saw it. I saw the very moment the lovely lady sent the victim hurtling to his death. Thank you. Now then, I have just 2 more questions. Your Honor, aside from the victim, defendant, and bananas, what else did the witness claim he saw?
It was the name written on the sand, wasn't it?
Thank you. Finally, Mr. Wellington, did you see the name before or after you called the police? I saw the name before I made the call. Thank you, Mr. Wellington. You've been most helpful. Now, will everyone please take a look at this evidence? Wait, that's the autopsy report! You seem to have figured it out, Mr. Payne. Bravo. Yes, as was established during the previous cross-examination, the victim couldn't possibly have written anyone's name in the sand.
Wait, isn't it still possible that the defendant wrote her own name in the sand?
Not anymore, I'm afraid. You see, I predicted you might try to use that as a last line of defense. Ergo, I asked the witness whether or not he saw the exact moment of the murder. He claimed to see the exact moment the defendant allegedly sent the victim to his demise. At this point, she could not have written her own name in the sand without him noticing. The only window of opportunity available was the time he went to call the police. However, our witness has graciously pointed out that he saw the name before he made the call.
Well, maybe he just made the whole thing up. We still have a case if he did. Yeah, that's it. He never witnessed anything. This witness is just one of those clout chasers.
Oh, Mr. Payne. I had hoped you wouldn't sink so low, but alas, you confirmed my other prediction. You yourself confirmed the witness hadn't seen any of the evidence. Ergo, the only way he could have known about the name was if he was at the scene of the crime. The same is true for the time of death. He said it was sometime after 6 p.m. but before 7 p.m. This fits with the autopsy report, even though he hadn't seen it for himself. Therefore, we know the witness was definitely at the scene of the crime. He also offhandedly mentioned during one of his rants that he requires the finest glasses. Yet, the witness is wearing none here today. Were I a gambling man, I'd wager that the glasses at the scene match his prescription. He also stated he left to call the police, but any fool could see there was a payphone right there. One can reasonably conclude he was unable to recognize it as such without his glasses. A conclusion that would further indicate a likelihood that the shattered glasses are his.
Mr. Edgeworth, are you suggesting the witness was the killer?
That, Your Honor, is precisely what I'm saying.
What about his motive, though? Surely he wouldn't kill a policeman for no reason.
You want a motive? Very well, how's this? Mr. Wellington loves large bananas, but he found out Mr. Prince bought the last bunch. Rather than attempt to buy, trade, or steal them, he decided murder was the appropriate action. Not that I believe this is even remotely his real motive, but frankly, I don't care. My job is to prove my client's innocence. I'll let them sort out his true motives.
That's ridiculous, not to mention slander.
Is it really, though? The witness claimed that he saw a bunch of bananas at the crime scene. Tell me, did the police find any bananas at the scene at all?
Well, no, but...
Well, there you have it. The reason there were no bananas there is because the witness stole them and hid them. I'd say that fits, wouldn't you? Even more so than my client's motive. Come to think of it, what was her motive again? Oh, that's right. You never mentioned any motive on her part at all.
I will have order in this courtroom.
Your Honor, I believe I've sufficiently proven that the prosecution's accusations against my client are false.
I agree. Further investigation will be needed regarding the witness's involvement in the case. Speaking of, Mr. Payne, have the witness taken into custody for questioning.
I know what I'm beaten. Right away, Your Honor.
As for the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird, this court finds her... That is all. The court is adjourned.
That was amazing! I have never seen a case turn about so quickly before. And to think I was worried that the amnesia was gonna hold you back. Heck, if what I just saw was any indication, I should get amnesiacs to defend me more often. I hope she isn't seriously planning on going on trial again just for that. I feel really bad for Dustin, though. He didn't deserve to die like that. It's probably because of me and my bad luck. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old, when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and never won or even tied at a game of tic-tac-toe. Life has really been nothing but a string of disasters.
Hold it!
Forgive me, Miss Bird, but do yourself a favor and stop talking like that. You fell from the 9th floor of your apartment building when you were 6 months old, and yet you survived. And none the worse for wear that I can see. I know people who would kill for that kind of luck. Getting hit by vehicles, sick from bad food, failing at tests. Welcome to planet Earth. Furthermore, tic-tac-toe is a strange game. The only way to win is not to play. None of that makes you some goddess of misfortune, just human. Hey, who told you about my nickname? Believe me, I'm still trying to figure that out. At any rate, if the concept of bad luck is deeply ingrained in your mind, your subconscious expects bad luck, ergo, bad luck happens. Oh, I get it. Because I think I'm unlucky, I let the air go out of my subconscious. Not quite what I meant, but as long as she gets the gist. You're absolutely right. The next time we meet, I'm sure I'll have found a whole ocean's worth of good luck by then, sir. Next time we meet, I'll only be an unlucky person instead of a goddess of misfortune. Baby steps, I suppose. There's one thing I'm still confused about, though. How would that guy have known my name? I never met him, so how would he know to write Maggie in the sand? Oh, that. Didn't you say you found someone's phone in the park? The phone's owner called his phone, you answered, and arranged to meet with him? While you were on the phone, you said your name was Maggie, and he assumed it was Maggie with an I. I don't remember telling you that. How did you know? The moment I remember, I'll let you know. You're probably right, though. His voice did sound kind of familiar. Sorry I took so long, but I finally made it. Emma! Oh, good to see you, as always. Hey! What was that for? I thought you told me he had amnesia! I hurried all the way down here because I was worried I'd forgotten about everything. About us. Why would you tell me he has amnesia? He does! You're the only one he's remembered so far. I am? Well, how about that? If it makes you feel any better, Emma, your company is nice to have in this sea of unfamiliarity. Emma Skye, age 25, a detective who specializes in forensic and alchemy. I can never forget her. Stop it, you're gonna make me blush. Might late for that, I'm afraid. Still, that's pretty weird, getting amnesia all of a sudden like that. Did you get hit on the head with a fire extinguisher or something? I doubt it. I would think I'd still feel it were that the case. Last thing I remember was that there was something of vital importance I needed to do. But everything other than that is a complete blank up until when I found myself here. You think you need to see the doctor? No, I think I'll be fine. I've been slowly regaining memory, so it should work itself out eventually.
Well, I could bring you back to the lab with me. See what you can remember on the way.
Well, I'm certainly not going to say no to spending more time with you.
All right, then. That helps me, actually, since today's the first day they're letting me analyze that top secret item in evidence.
Ah, that's right, Maggie wasn't there. You've been waiting to take a closer look at that for about a year now, haven't you?
You know me too well, Miles. Miles, are you okay? Miles, what's happening? Miles? Someone quick! Get a doctor!
These memories... Are they... of my past? Huh? Where am I?
Welcome to the Velvet Room. Ah, it seems we have a guest with an intriguing destiny. Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. You may call me Igor.
Mysterious proprietor of the Velvet Room. He exists in the state between fiction and reality.
I am delighted to make your acquaintance. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter, between game board and player. You might consider it a meta-world of sorts. This is my assistant, Dlanor. She is a resident of this world, like myself. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. My mouth doesn't move in the Velvet Room. My name is Dlanor Anox. I will be accompanying you during your journey.
The head inquisitor of heresy and Eisern Jungfrau. The 7th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven. She is currently assisting Igor as a Velvet Room attendant.
This room is normally open to those who are bound by a contract. Perhaps such a contract awaits you in your future. However, to prepare for the future, one must first understand the present. And in order to understand the present, one must first remember the past. There are several of your memories that contain keys to your understanding the present. If the mystery goes unsolved, your future may be forever lost. My duty is to provide assistance to our guests to ensure that does not happen. Let's start with your memories of a case you handled 3 months ago. As you relive these memories, it will be as if you were experiencing these events for the first time. I will, however, occasionally visit you to check on your progress. Understand, however, that she cannot provide assistance as you reenact these cases. She is bound by the rules of Noxus Second, which forbid the aid of the supernatural in mysteries. However, she is allowed to bring certain matters to your attention pertaining to your present. You may think of it as providing necessary context, filling in the gaps of your damaged memories. I shall explain more when we meet again. Until then, farewell.
Wait, you're in Karine! Emma Skye, my childhood friend turned girlfriend. She's also a detective who specializes in forensics and alchemy.
Karine. As in the alchemy capital of the USJ. That Karine? You know how much I've wanted to go there with you. Why did you go without me?
Wait, it was Karine you talked about going to? I thought Kurain was the place you said you were interested in.
They both are!
I'm sorry, I had some business here I needed to take care of. I'll make it up to you, though. I promise. I'll get Diego to cover for me at the office, and we can come out here together in a couple weeks.
Well, I still wish I could be there with you now, but I'm okay with waiting a couple of weeks. Just do me a favor and listen more carefully.
I know Karain and Kurain sound similar, but still. You're generally pretty good at picking up subtle differences like that, so it's just a little surprising. Anyway, I better go ahead and let you go now. Love you.
Love you too. I'll see you soon. Sorry, Emma. I would have brought you with me, but I didn't want to risk spoiling the surprise. Alchemy for Dummies, a beginner's guide to transmutation. I bought it to help with a secret project I'm working on. And that is the end of Turnabout Déjà Vu. So thank you so much for watching. This is Dr. Novell signing out. Y'all have a good one.